Maramea is a young label, only a few years, and already fighting here on the international stage. Why Pitti Bimbo? How did it come about? How long was your contact with Pitti Bimbo before you actually decided to come? Tell us a bit more about that.
I think I actually don't exactly remember, but it's not so long time ago that we got asked by Dimitra, who's organizing like little pop-up and the Nest area, which is specifically for young designers. And when we got asked, we were thinking, okay, Pitti is like a big thing, and probably we cannot afford it or take be part of it. But then we talked about, we listened to everything, and then we found out that they really support, and they are there to support young designers and new brands.
Yes.
And so we got the chance, and actually everything happened quite quick. I think maybe in September, October.
Yes. Okay.
We decided to come, and then from then on we prepared everything, the new collection, and that's now today we're here presenting autumn winter.
So from a pure logistical perspective, how did you manage? How did you get all the wares over to Florence? Did you send the stuff by plane before? Or how does it work? You know, there are lots of young labels who would like to present their product at Pitti, but I guess it's quite it's lots of work, isn't it?
It's a lot of work, but all of that is fun. Like you don't really realize how much work it is. And we arrived with the plane actually, just packing everything in extra suitcases.
Okay.
And I think now we are also organized, knowing how to pack everything. And we just came by plane with everything and extra luggage.
Okay. And when did you actually finish the stand? I hear stories that some of the stand building, continues early morning. So I hope it wasn't as bad in your case.
We didn't really have a chance because it was the plane we took only arrived in the afternoon, and then we came here at 6, I think, and we were really fast. I mean, we were 3 people building up everything, and I think we took 4 hours. And I mean, now before we think how to do what, and everyone knows their task, and then it's fast.
Very good. Tell us more about Maramea. What is the idea behind this? There are other maternity labels out there. You're based in Berlin, so I guess this is a very creative place. So you might have had ideas which you want to translate into new products. Give us some information about this.
It's actually my co-founder Maren Will and I. We realized a few years ago, also working in other fields. I come from women's wear, and Maren comes from kids wear.
Okay.
And we first thought about founding a kids label, or Maren tried to convince me, but it's not really my field. And then we understood that there's nothing cool, stylish, but at the same time functional in the whole maternity and diaper bag area, because we have diaper bags that are multifunctional. Maternity wear can be worn before, during and after pregnancy. So every product we create is made for women, not only mothers that they're pregnant, but in general it's for women. You don't even have to have a child to use it or to wear it. I'm also wearing a dress of ours, and so that's our whole idea about.
So this is a dress of Maramea.
Yeah.
Okay, that's very, very pretty. Wonderful.
And you can wear it when you're pregnant, and just like normal. And a lot of our products, maternity wear, also made for nursing. So after you have your baby, you just wear it for nursing, and that's a really big benefit. That's also the feedback from our shops and from the end customer that say this is just great.
Maternity wear and the other products you are developing and which you intend to introduce at a later stage is a very sensitive area in terms of the products you use, the textiles, the fabrics. So where do you actually produce? How do you go about it? Do you analyze? Do you speak to fabric producers, looking at all the fabrics which are there, and then do you have certain parameters which these fabrics have to fulfill?
Yeah.
So, give us some information with regard to that.
Yeah. So in general on the quality we have a really high standard. We work with European standards, we have contracts for everything, for every single chemical, for every. It's 20 pages long about everything. Longer, I don't know. It's a contract with every supplier, and the supplier we work with, we know them for years. We also work for other brands for many years, not and that's how we ensure that the quality standard is always high. And we check, like we make the quality check with every single product before we ship something. And that's also something, sometimes we reject something. It's also like, I mean, it's not the best, but before we send something that's not how we expected, then that's how it is. Yeah, so for the production we have different, every piece is made from someone who's specialized in the field, so it depends on the product group.
And do you produce in Europe or overseas as well?
Yeah, we produce in 4 different countries, depending on the product. It's India, for embroideries and everything, then it's Poland, Portugal, and we have a fair trade project in Thailand.
Okay, so that's very far away. So do you go to these places in order to see, where, the stuff is being produced and to see the conditions? We had all kinds of scandals over the years, and obviously, companies are getting more and more sensitive about this issue as well. So how do you manage that? It's
Maren and we go ourselves to the production companies.
Okay.
That's also, I mean, we selected them because we used to work with them. We already knew them. We knew how they work, how everything, the working conditions, everything. And when we develop a new collection, we just fly over and develop everything in 2 weeks together. We go to the fabric markets, we develop the styles, and we prepare everything before the new designs and cuts and prints, because everything comes, we develop everything in-house. We don't buy any ready-made fabrics, prints from the markets.
Okay.
That's also every embroidery is in-house made. And then we go there, we develop it together, that's how it.
And the design of your products, it's has a certain idea behind it. There's some ethical, the actual design you choose has a very clear language. So where did you take your influences from? So what did influence you? What do you like? And what's really the background of your very distinctive style?
The inspiration we get a lot of from traveling from different countries. It's, I mean, all the embroideries we have is influenced by like ethnic cultures. I mean, now it's like Native Americans and some Moroccan influence, but then we translate it to European, like we add graphic textures or something, so it becomes like it's a mix. And that's how we, and then, I mean, we are also about bright colors, but it's quite colorful. I mean, then we have basics in between, but always some small detail, a small embroidery, like nothing really plain, that you always find something small, intricate details. And it's about the coloring. We spend a lot of time to choose the color palette and all the details, like prints, embroideries, like about that.
Okay. Now, coming to the more kind of hard-nosed fact of business life, you only started a few years ago. How do you go about actually selling and marketing your wares? You need to get into touch with the retailer, you need to select shops. How did you do that? What was your first step? How did you actually evaluate whether the products are being liked? Tell me more about that.
It's actually quite funny because we just developed the first collection. We knew there's a niche. We do it. We went to Playtime Paris. And we didn't organize anything. We didn't contact any shops, nothing, because we were just busy until last second to get everything ready for the fair. So we were standing at Playtime Paris first day, nothing. We didn't contact anyone, nothing. And then one day, like after the first day, we were so overwhelmed, and everyone from other brands coming to us, it's crazy. Everyone, like, we were so busy, and this is something I think we really, like, because we're different in this area. Our summer collection, the first summer collection was like happy, colorful, and also, like, a lot of people just came because they saw maybe it's different. And then the first day they already placed orders at the.
So So that I find is interesting because nowadays you obviously think what is a trade fair for. because you can find all the information on the internet, you can talk to people, you can, research everything globally without actually leaving your desk, because you can do it with your laptop. So the trade fair itself has helped you to get into contact with retailers, to actually show them the product and convince them to order it.
Exactly, yeah, and I mean it's also important to present and to show that they can touch it, they can feel it, they can try it. I mean that's about it. And after Paris, it just, in a way, it just worked itself. I mean, of course, we also contacted shops afterwards, and I mean, I think after a few days we already had 20 shops, like suddenly, like after 3 days or something. And
did you have enough stock to satisfy the demand?
Yes, that's what we thought. We produced quite a lot more than the placed pre-orders, but 2 weeks after we shipped the first collection, like a lot of sizes were sold out, which is like a luxury problem.
Yes.
But we were thinking like, okay, we need stock until August, it's only February, what do we do? And we reproduced in the first collection.
Yes.
And I mean, it's fair enough because shops didn't know us, they were more like, they wanted to try, but they understood 2 days after we shipped, they were sold out, they reordered. Okay, we said, okay, we can provide, but 2 weeks later it was just gone. We reproduced, and now shops also, they adjusted their pre-orders for the next season. So this is how we also grow and how it works.
I understand that your main market obviously is Germany still. Does that imply that you go to regional trade fairs, which we have in Germany? There are different places in Munich and near Düsseldorf, near Frankfurt.
Yeah.
Are these regional order platforms of interest to you?
As well, we went to German trade fairs.
Okay, to which one, for instance?
Supreme Kids.
Supreme, yes.
Kinder and Jugend ones, because we got nominated for Innovation Award, and Kids Now.
Okay.
And now we started working with agents for this season, and they go almost to every fair in Germany now.
Okay.
So we presented there and
yes. How did you get into contact with these trade agents?
It was coincidentally actually at the Supreme Kids. We sat next to each other at the, they organized like an evening event from the fair, and that's how we got in contact, and then it worked, and that's how we then started at some point. Yeah.
Which again demonstrates, that trade fairs even nowadays are really quite important. Okay, so Germany is the main market, which is clear. Let's talk the German-speaking region in the center of Europe. But are there other countries which you would like to focus on, which you see as the prime targets for an international expansion?
In general, Europe, everything, like also Italy, France, Scandinavia, all of these countries are good. We already have shops there, but there's a big potential, I believe. And Asia, like Korea, Japan, and then the next big thing for us is the US, to enter the US market. But we didn't start focusing on that. We have to do
you have to do it step by step. But this is a rather positive sales strategy, and the question for me is, we see in especially the children's fashion industry, you see quite a number of new companies coming up, but then quite a number closing down as well after a relatively short period of time, which has different reasons. But the question I'm kind of aiming at is, how do you organize that? Do you actually have a very clear business plan where you decide clearly we want to invest in this area and or focus on this country, we have this budget? How do you do that? Because I think that's, for many smaller labels, that's quite a challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, it's true, but from the very beginning we made a business plan, and everything with numbers, and we have regularly controlling meetings, we control everything. This is quite rare, I think, for small companies, but it's so important. And that's also my area more than Mount's. We are good in splitting the things. Everyone has the task. So it's a fun thing to do, how we see it's growing, but it's also as important because it's about numbers. Budget is, if you just give something that you don't have, you will not make it. But we just stick to it, and we're actually actually over our plan, so
Yeah.
that's good.
Very good. Wonderful. I think we've touched on many very interesting aspects of Maramea. Thank you very much indeed for your time. I wish you all the best. I wish you especially that Pitti Bimbo will be good for you and you will get in contact with lots of interested retailers, even internationally. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.